Hi folks, welcome back to my virtual campfire. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, an old guy that's a lifelong camping and RVing enthusiast and a lover of the great outdoors, and I tell it to you straight. You may or may not like some of the things that I say, but I try to tell you the truth from my perspective just to give you some things to think about. If you have not yet accessed my resource page, if you're going to buy an RV or sell an RV, or you have a situation that you need help with, scan the QR code on the screen. It's my resource page. You'll find all kinds of helpful information. I promise you, you will be happy that you learned this information, or at least you had these contacts before you go and possibly make a mistake, including the RV dealers that I trust. If you need RV lemon law help, all kinds of stuff is available. You can access it through that QR code or the link in the description down below. All right. Today, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you my opinion why these salespeople at the big chain stores are pushing so damn hard on you, the buyer, when you go in, especially those first-time buyers who are buying one of those inexpensive, start them at $98 a month for the rest of your life. $98 a month, and you too can be happy with this RV. Why are they pushing so hard? I'm going to give you my thoughts here in a little bit. But first, a couple of weeks ago, the RVIA, Recreational Vehicle Industry Association, their publication called RV Business, came out with a story, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to kind of analyze it and give you my thoughts, because many people are asking me, what do you see as the future of RVing, Wingman? Is it positive? Is it negative? And I say, it is. But I'm going to tell you why I see some negative things, and that the happy talk that the recreational vehicle industry provides, and it's nice. It is. Their commercials are pretty and nice and fun. Yay. But the happy talk is only part of the story. This came out June 24th. Emerging RV buyers are younger, more diverse, and ready to roll. The Go RVing RV owner demographic profile identified 16.9 million Americans who have significant interest in purchasing an RV in the next 5 years. That's a bunch. Digging into these intenders. I love that word they use. It's all the way through the story. Intenders. I guess these are people that have this dream. Well, yeah, we're going to buy an RV. Yeah, we're going to do that. We intend on it. Oh, man. And so they're talking about the intenders. Digging into them, the latest special report of prospective RV buyers reveals a changing landscape for the RV industry, a wave of younger, more diverse, and tech-savvy intenders driving future demand. That's awesome. If you're a manufacturer, doesn't that sound great? Yay, we've got all these new, fresh ones coming in. According to the RV demographic profile of intenders, 73% of near-term RV intenders are under age 55. 34% live in urban areas. The segment is also becoming more multicultural, with 32% identifying as African American, Asian American, Hispanic, or LGBTQ+. Many intenders, 48%, are parents of young children seeking new ways to blend outdoor adventure with family time. This is not your grandfather's RV market, said Go RVing Chief Marketing Officer Karen Redfern. Young consumers want flexibility, convenience, and memorable experiences, and RVs deliver on all of that. Yes, they do. They do. Flexibility, convenience, and memorable experiences. Not all the time. Not all the time. In fact, quite often, not very much of the time. Key motivations for RV purchase include a desire to explore nature, add adventure and excitement to life, and relax with the comforts of home. The study found 65% of intenders plan to purchase a new RV, with travel trailers, Class C and Class A motorhomes leading the list of favorites. It says the path to purchase is evolving. Intenders are highly digital, relying on social media, YouTube, and online listings more than traditional dealership visits. Many are cautious buyers, concerned about costs and seeking education on RV types and ownership. The days of people walking in, hey, honey, let's go check out what's going on over at that RV dealership. Let's go look at them. There's some of those people, but they're getting fewer and fewer. People are doing their homework. The problem is, this is like going to a grocery store. If you go to the junk food aisle and all you want is Doritos and potato chips and M&Ms and ice cream, that's easy to find. If you want to find the health stuff, the healthy snacks and the vegetables and produce, which one is more crowded? The junk food stuff. People are watching, the young people, and it's not, I'm not getting down on young people, because all of us do this. We go to the junk food. We look, oh man, how would it be? We could have that. We could go there. I've always thought about going to whatever the national park is. And it's that dream, that fantasy. And that's what RVIA focuses on. Of course they do. Their objective is to get you to buy an RV. I'm going to get into why those cheap RVs, those salespeople are so pushy here in just a minute. It says, the research identified 5 unique RV intender segments, from young families building memories to hobby-focused couples, blah, blah, blah. Each has its own motivations and purchase patterns. What do you think the biggest category of these intenders is? Why are they wanting to buy an RV? What do you think? Drop a comment down below. 60%, apparently, and I don't doubt this, 60%, they call them nostalgic nurturers, families recreating childhood RV memories. Most of us, if we RV'd, if we camped as children, aren't those memories magical? And I think they still are for young people. If they went camping with their parents or their grandparents and that magical time alone and kind of off-grid, so to speak, even if the next campers were right next door. But it was just that experience, those memories, 60% of them. And I think that while, and it goes on, it talks about flickering families, young families discovering RVs through friends, flickering, scrolling families. When you're looking on social media and you go to Instagram or Facebook and you see your neighbor and all those other people, man, look how much fun they're having. Look at that. Now, we could have one of those. Oh, gosh, we ought to go camping. We thought about that. Do you think we'd be happy if we bought a camper? Let's go do that. I think those are what they call those flickering families. Eager explorers, hobby-focused couples seeking outdoor adventure. Rustic relaxers, nearing retirement buyers seeking comfort and simplicity. Well, you can find comfort and simplicity, but when you have an RV, it's not always comfort and it is not always simplicity. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. What are your thoughts? I know RVIA, their objective is to sell RVs, is to paint the best picture possible. But I think that by painting only the good, without the education, without the real wisdom, without the, hey, you've got a responsibility when you purchase that RV, you are setting people up for the one and done. I think that the financing, there's 2 reasons why the future of the RV industry, to me, is not good. One is some of these dealers, many of them have cut people's heads off financially. They're bleeding. I hear stories every single week, lots of them. People that are 20, 30, 50, more than $50,000 upside down. Yes, it's their own doing, but they were led to the slaughter by somebody going, look, happiness is right there. All you got to do is see that picture. That could be you at Yosemite. And now they're buried. They can't afford another RV, even if they own it. They're friggin' buried. That's why the RV industry has to look at the emerging market, the intenders, because everybody else is gone. Not everybody, but too many of these people are gone. And yes, as I said, part of it is the consumer's fault because they got in over their head, but they weren't listening. They weren't doing this pragmatically. An RV dealer, a good one, the ones that I work with, I think want you to look at things pragmatically. If you can't afford it, if you're not willing to do the maintenance, if all you want to do is go out and have fun with little hassle, it's probably not a good decision for you. But doing that homework is your responsibility. I believe that maintenance, the lack of doing maintenance, the lack of desire, understanding that there is maintenance that needs to be done is a big factor. These intenders are going to buy an RV thinking that, well, let's hitch it up, baby, let's go. And they will for a while until they realize that that $98 a month payment or whatever it happens to be is only a little piece of the cost, the true cost. The financial cost, the emotional cost, and everything else. I think that most people, just my opinion, get overwhelmed with the good stuff and they don't even want to hear that noise. They don't want to hear somebody like the wingman. They don't want to hear you, grandpa, grandma, saying, you got to be careful, honey. You got to be careful, son. Nah, they don't want to hear it. And I don't blame them. We didn't want to hear it either when we grew up, did we? What are your thoughts? I think that, if you look at an alcohol commercial on TV, that's drink responsibly. I think the RVIA commercials, RV responsibly. It's more than just having fun. You've got to own it. You've got to really be a responsible person. Now, why do these RV salespeople, especially the big dealerships, why are they pushing you with all that extra stuff? The optional things that you are not required to have. You are not, but they're pushing it just nonstop. And they may say, oh, no, I'm not. They are. And here's why. When the dealer is selling these 10,000, 12,000, whatever, these cheapy, they're never going to last 10 years, RV units, these single axle towables, they don't make any money on it. The dealer does not make any money on selling that RV. And so the salesperson who's on a commission, they do not make any money selling that RV. Well, where's the money, Wingman? The money is in all that stuff they add on, all that pushy stuff, the fabric protection, the paint protection, the tire protection, the Good Sam extended service plan. That's where the commission is. That's why they push you so hard. You don't have to have it. You don't. But if you don't buy it, the commission, the salesperson don't make any money. So that's why they get you in the door with that cheap, it's only $98 a month or whatever the ad happens to say on TV. No, it's not. By the time you get out the door, it's way more than that. It's sometimes double that, and it's forever with an RV that's not going to last very long. And then the salesman got their commission. Yeah, Wingman, but the Camping World didn't make any money. You said Camping World didn't make any money. Not on selling it. They don't care about you buying it. They care about you making payments, getting a loan on it. That's what they care about. They make a little bit of money every time you make a payment. A little bit of money when they arrange the financing, and they should. But that's why it's not just $98 a month. That's why all that little bitty fine print on the bottom of the screen. That's why these intenders have to come into the market, because unless the intenders that don't know any better, if they don't keep them in the dark, keep selling that fantasy here on those RVIA commercials. As long as they can keep them doing that, and as long as the banks will continue to put people in over their heads with an RV they're not going to use very much, they don't know how to maintain, those people too will become one and done, and they won't be able to buy another RV. That is why the RV market is hurting right now. Yes, money was cheap back during COVID, and stand by just a second. I just got the low battery on my computer here. Money was cheap back during COVID. Money's not so cheap anymore. Lending requirements are much tougher right now. But banks make money by loaning money. And if you're willing to sign a 15-year note on a travel trailer that's not going to last you probably 7 or 8, that's your fault. So, do we have an emerging market? I think so. Do we have a lot of nostalgic nurturers? I know we do. I hope we do. Camping and RVing is fantastic. These emerging RV buyers, the smarter that we can make them, that we can help them see not just all the great stuff that you see on YouTube, but the other side of the coin. I think we're doing a service to those people. I think this channel could be doing service to them. Most of the people that watch this channel are older, for obvious reasons. Young people don't want to hear something that slows them down. I didn't either. But I think that if we can do it in a loving way, a thoughtful way, and don't try to hammer them. I often tell the story about a friend of mine that had 2 boys. This guy he loved to fish more than anything. Raised his 2 boys exactly the same. And one of them grew up loving to fish. One of them hated it. And he treated them both exactly the same. He's like, well, if I just take them fishing long enough, maybe that one that hates it's the light bulb's going to come on. Ain't going to work. Not everybody is going to love RVing. They're not. RVs are a pain in the ass too often. But there's some joy, I think, that comes out of that. I don't know. Therapy. Again, my dad, when I was a kid, working on the car, grunting, Dad, why don't you go and have somebody else do it? Therapy, son. But I don't know. Hopefully some of this makes some sense. And if you know someone who is thinking about buying an RV and they're reading some of these industry publications, help them tap on the brakes and just listen a little bit. It could save them from making some monumental mistakes. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Make sure you hit the the thumbs up button and hit subscribe. Turn your notifications to all. And maybe share this with somebody, like I said, somebody that may need to hear it. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, thanking you so much for watching. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home. Bye-bye.